Minesaga Skyblock. As you saw from the title, I'm going to give away some trade secrets today. What we did, or how I got myself to a point where I could dominate this top. I'm going to show, not show, but tell you a little bit about that. But first, I want to go over a little bit of a history lesson, my path, my journey, so be it. When I first started playing Skyblock, I was attracted to the... I'm going to be placing hay during this, by the way. I was attracted to the allure of competing and winning. I didn't necessarily care about the prizes so much. I just wanted to win. And when I first started, I had this idea that I would just keep placing diamond blocks and just fill up a whole island with diamond blocks. And of course, that's not enough. You can't win just doing that. And so instead, I just kind of figured out the game, started to learn it. Me and a few others had this idea after a little while to use alt islands to hold our spawners because of the hopper limits. Because initially, when you could stack spawners, you maxed out pretty quickly. Did you guys see a skeleton on top of that? Out of just quickly? Or am I going crazy? Am I having a seizure or something? Anyway, and so you would max out pretty quickly on one island. And so we had the idea, and of course T3s were introduced at that point as well, to use our alt's hopper limits. And we instantly shot up in income. And in doing so, at this point I still wasn't competing. I was just happy having a lot of money with farms and whatnot. Eventually, two guys, Generic Eric and Duct Tape Ninja, some of you may recognize those names. Most of you probably don't. They haven't been around for a very long time. This is like going way back. When I was like 5 years old back. No, not that far. Not that far. Don't be ridiculous. They recruited me to compete. The idea was to put the level blocks on my island, and they would feed me the money and also help place, at the time, Sponge. Sponge was the go-to, not Hay. Hay didn't even exist yet. And quickly we dominated big time. And if you scroll back on the... I want to say it's the announcements. It might be news. They may have changed it. But if you scroll back, way back when, you'll see that I was this top one on Jurassic for quite a while, for almost an entire round. And it actually made a few people quit, which is something we'll get into later. And then what ended up happening is we went over to the next round, kind of thinking that we would keep the status quo, keep things the way they were, and just continue to win with the people we had. And we quickly learned that that was a big mistake. We got our butts handed to us pretty hardcore. We still won. I think we won the first 2 weeks of that next round, but after that, I don't think we won as top one again for the rest of the round. Maybe 2 or 3 a couple times, but we didn't win again that round. So the reason why is because we didn't change with the times. We didn't bring in fresh people. We kept the same people, even though we knew that they weren't very good. The problem that created without fresh blood, we had people that were burned out, including some of the people that we were counting on to not be burned out, and we couldn't keep up with Duwanshu. And so he pretty much kicked our butts. Yeah, he wasn't alone. He had other people on his island, but I give him majority of the credit. He's pretty quiet for the most part. He's not the most outspoken of his crew, including the current crew. But I think he's the mastermind behind it all. I'd even go as far to call him a Skyblock genius. You think my farms are good? He's always a step ahead of me in that regard. Um, so what exactly? So what exactly is the key? What do you need to do to succeed in ISTOP? Well, that depends. If you are brand new, like I was, you don't know a whole lot, your best bet is to jump onto someone that's already competing, to join their island. Someone like me, someone like, let's take a look, someone like Shoes Island here, which has, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see what I'm pointing at. It has JBM, and it has Uncreative, and VLD recently came back. He was with them before. But really anybody in the top 5, try to join up with them. I don't know if these guys are going to be here next round, so that might not work. But they made a pretty good run for a first time group. I know some of them are leaving, but I'm not going to share that because it's not my business to share. But anyway, so if you don't know anything, don't know what you're doing, best bet is to join a group that already has experience competing. Learn from them, and you can either choose to stay with them and help them, or branch off on your own and start your own island, which is what a lot of people do. It's what I did. I initially was not the mastermind. It was Generic Eric and Duct Tape Ninja. I joined them. And slowly over time, even though it was me showing up in ISTOP, they were really the power behind the trio. And then when the next island started, if you check the announcements, it shows Generic Eric as the ISTOP 1 winner because he was the real winner. Eventually, they gave up, and I took over. So in essence, I started my own team, but it kind of was a more fluid change for me. I didn't really have to go anywhere. I just kind of took over. So that's the first step. Second step, you're gonna lose, especially if you go up against me. You're gonna lose no matter where you start. The key is to not give up, and that was the mistake of a few people that I competed with when I first started, with the other 2 guys. There was someone specifically called Call Me Joe, who was at that time dominating Baltop because we were hiding our income, we weren't showing it. Just another key to success, which is something that we've kind of slacked on. There it was again. I swear I saw a skeleton there. I'm gonna pause it and play back and see if I see it. You wanna hide your bow as much as possible. You don't want their competition to know what you have or what you're doing. So his name was Call Me Joe, and when I beat him, and I appeared to be solo, and we did not want to tell people at the time that I was not solo, even though it rubbed a few people the wrong way, which I don't see why, but whatever. Old story, old news. He quit. He just up and quit. And what's funny is he had enough value to stay in the top 10 till the end of the round, which lasted quite a while. It just goes to show how D1's Island and I really dominated that round. And of course, there were other members on his team too. IVI, who I don't know if he's coming back or not. There was another guy, iOS Rules PvP. There was VLD, Paka, whatever his name is. But like I said, the brains was D1 Shu. What does that name mean? Dewanshu. It sounds almost like Japanesey, right? Dewanshu. I don't know. Anyway, don't give up. If at first you don't succeed, try again. And that's important, because we went a whole round, we barely won at all. And here we are winning every single week, except for the first 2 weeks, I think, and we won every other week this round. And I don't see us losing anytime soon. This round. New round, you never know. So don't give up. Keep going. The more you try, the more you'll learn, the better you'll get. Clay shop. I thought it was an iron generator. Looks like an iron generator. Next key. I'm looking at my notes. Plan for next round early. A lot of mistakes that people make is they don't plan ahead. Maybe you noticed on the sidebar over there how I have 5,913 points. Well, if you check in Point Shop, Villager Spawner is 30 points. So at just my points alone, we're going to start out with 197 villagers in the next round, which is going to give us a boost. And if you look at points C, maybe? Don't you? Is it C? He has 355 points. Let's try JBM deck. 55 points. And on Creative Mind, 17 points. Now, it is possible that they have a lot of point papers and they just simply haven't cashed them in. But to me, I have not seen them with a shop, and I've trekked. I guess I have trekked. I've checked and I've trekked. So they're not gathering points. So either they're not going to stay on Jurassic, or they're simply not planning for the next round, which is a huge mistake. You always have to be looking to the future. You stay stuck in one place at one time, someone's going to come along and they're going to smack you in the face and they're going to kick your butts. And of course, I'm not guaranteeing that we're going to dominate again next round, but I feel like we have a pretty good head start that a lot of people are not going to have. Next step, don't spread yourself too thin. There are people that bragged about competing on every realm, like Kingdom, Western, Space, and all that good stuff, and they fall short. Especially somebody on Jurassic last round. In fact, Ivy Eyes Island, JBM, Do You Want You, whatever, on Creative, they had the bright idea to try to take Is Top 1 and Is Top 2 at the same time, and Absurd Alpha's Island came in and whacked them right on top of the head with a mallet and said, so they made a huge mistake that week. Of course, they cleaned it up. They won their fair share that round, and we didn't. Still, they made a huge mistake. Well, we did win some, but they came back and won it in the end. But neither here nor there. You can check like I said, you can check the news and you can see who's won and who's lost. But like at the beginning of this round, people like some of our island mates are telling us, telling me, oh, you got to be careful. This guy's competing on this, and this realm, and this guy's going to be on this, and that, and that realm, and they've got a really good team. And I'm like, I don't care. They don't scare me. We're only here. We're only on Jurassic. Well, most of us, not all of us, but most of our island, at least the heavy grinders, are only here on Jurassic. So people that are going to try to compete with us from different realms, you don't scare me. I'm not concerned about you. You're not going to be able to keep up with us. I'm sorry. And so that is another huge mistake. Now, if you get really good and you get 15 people that can really give you like 8 to 10 hours a day, maybe you could sit there, but even that's not sustainable. It's just not sustainable. Even Mustafa in his heyday, he could not handle every realm. In fact, he stayed away from Jurassic, and most of the people that do those stay away from Jurassic for some reason. I haven't really figured out why. Like my first instinct is to say, well, they're afraid of me, but that's not it. No, it must be something else. I don't know. But either way, they've all stayed away. You have to grind early and grind hard. So towards the end of the round, it does become more of an AFK game. There's a lot less grinding because the result from the grinding isn't so hard, or isn't so good. And you need to take a break, which is the next point. I'm skipping ahead here. Grind early and grind hard. So everybody knows how we did so well last round was with grinding frog more than everybody else. Well, it's the same story this round. We came out hot and heavy, and we grinded the frog like nobody else, 2 to 3 times a day, 10 of us, and we just destroyed everybody. And the first 2 weeks we focused on income. We didn't do levels, and so while there it was again. Did you see that? I'm telling you, there's some weird little visual glitch here. These guys and these guys and somebody else. I don't remember who. The emo guys, emo penguin guys, which I don't want to get into that. That's a whole lot of gossip and rumors and stuff that I don't want to get involved in. They all went gung ho straight at it, buying hay from shops and stuff like that, and we didn't. We relied our IRL levels only relied on generators that we had gotten from opening crates, which we had gotten from the previous round's $150 Buycraft voucher. And of course, a couple of our guys bought a random gen. I think I bought one too, now that I think about it. But for the most part, we didn't really spend a whole lot of our own money. It was just a voucher left over, and that kept us kind of in the running until we were done focusing income, and we pushed, we pushed pretty hard. What was I saying? Oh yeah. But everybody has a breaking point. Everybody has a limit. If you try to grind the entire round, you're going to burn yourself out, and you're not going to be able to do it starting the next round. So you have to get to a point where you can kind of just relax and play the game a little bit. I mean, you can't just forget about it. You still have to grind, but you have to find a happy medium, or else you're going to burn yourself out. Almost like you got to take a vacation from your job, or if you're in school, you get your summer vacation. Assuming you're American, I don't know how other countries work. You have to get to a point where slow down, take a break. Last but not least, you have to stay fluid. If you keep the same people in and out every single round, they're going to get stale, and you're going to get to a point where people are not pulling their weight anymore, and you're going to start to falter. And the biggest example of that is these guys. For the longest time, these guys were always a threat to us, always competing with us. Couldn't keep up with them, or they couldn't keep up Choco Starfish. Who the heck is that? Well, they've had pretty much the same people for like 3 or 4 rounds straight. And while they have a pretty good crew, without fresh blood coming in, they've kind of faltered a little bit. I've noticed that they're not online as much. I don't believe they're on other realms. They just kind of are just AFKing it, and they're just kind of satisfied with the 2 spot. I'm sure they want the 1 spot, but it ain't happening. Sorry. We have too much of an advantage. Even with me losing almost 100,000 villagers, we still had more than them. Because we grinded so hard early, and we were smart with our Buycraft, our winnings, our reward, reusing our rewards. They can't catch us, and I think it's because none of them are really grinding, because they've got old blood. They need new blood. You need to constantly bring in fresh people, not only because they're willing to grind, because they're excited to join a top island, but because they're going to motivate you to grind, because you're going to see them grinding. And I don't have fly. Oh, so you don't fall forever anymore. Huh. What the heck was that? What the heck is this? Whatever. at those 26 messages. I put a recruitment message out, and so people are mailing me all their recruitments. I don't think we need this here anymore. Get out of my inventory. There you go. Let's see, 48 billion. I could do a little bit more. Yeah, so I mean that is more or less it. As far as like, you know, specific trade secrets, there really aren't any. You just have to have a good team, experienced players. Now you can, you know, I take chances on people sometimes. Most of our group here have experience competing, but not all of them. Not all of them. And some of them aren't even actually here. SJ941 and Jamescraft, they're not actually members. They're just no point in not having them on the thing there. I just keep them anyway. We weren't bringing anybody new in, so there was no point in kicking them. Not most of that, like, I can go over it again. Like the biggest example is Grenade, and he's gonna see this and he's gonna talk to me. He didn't really have any competing experience going into this round, but he survived to the end. You know, we had a couple that that joined that did not survive to the end because they simply weren't not competing to our level. Keeping up with us, and so they did not make it. And I'm not going to call people out, but you know who you are, and it's no offense or anything. It's just you weren't. It just wasn't enough, because you know that's what happens when you take chances. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but sometimes it does. But pretty much everybody else on that roster, they're all experienced at competing, or at least at Skyblock. And that, you know, surrounding yourself with good players, very important when it comes to competition, because that's how you get better, is to surround yourself with people that are better than you, and you know that's what I've done. I've had people tell me you're the best Skyblock player ever, or you are so good at Skyblock, or you're awesome at competing. It's not true. As much as I'd love to go, it's all true. Everything that they say, it's not. It's not. I simply surround myself with experienced, smarter people than me, and I'm just the figurehead. I'm the one that shows up. I'm the one that shows up here because I'm the island owner. But it's not just me. It's all of us working together as a team. Anytime you get a personality that thinks it's all just them, and there are people that compete that are like that, those islands are doomed to fail, and they have. If you check, well, I guess you can't really, but if you've been following IsTop, you'll see the landscape has changed a lot, and it's because of people like that. That you lose your people when you treat them poorly, or when you pretend like this wouldn't be, you wouldn't have this if it's not for you, or if it's not for me. No, this island would survive without me very well, because we have good people. But anyway, that is pretty much it. That's the key. You can go over it again, but I don't really want to go over it again. Just rewind. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and as always,